Hello, 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 and welcome back to the So Your Stay at Home podcast. How has your week been going? Mine has been I know, I say that every week. I'm Kayla, a stay-at-home mom to a fast-growing kindergartner. I sometimes come up with awesome ideas that will blow your mind, but this probably won't be one of those times, so let's get into it. I'm going to do my best to limit the word coronavirus as best as I can, because I don't want this to be that at all. So this episode, I am going to be talking about homeschooling tips, because I know that a lot of people in this country, their kids are not going to school and they're getting transitioned into virtual school or doing things online, and it can be a little different, and transitioning into becoming functioning and getting things done can be a little challenging in the beginning. And I've been doing it for 7 months now, so I don't know, since August of last year. So I just wanted to do a little podcast on on just some tips that I have that I think could help anyone in this situation that we're in. So, with all that said, the first things first is you got this. It can be difficult to self-motivate and not have a set schedule as far as being home. But my number one thing is just try your best to stick to a routine. If you get up at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, continue to do that and just continue to do that. So get ready for school or whatever you would usually do. And I'm so tired. Sorry, I'm trying to get through. I'm not even super tired. We just rearranged the garage again, or cleaned it out, purged all the trash that was in there. It wasn't even that much trash, just the junk that we're never going to use this again and we don't want it. Bye. So yeah, that's what we've been doing on our little quarantine. But besides that, so my number one thing is of course you got this, you got it. And just remember that you got it. You think it's hard. And I remember the first time that I sat down with my son and I had to teach him, he didn't have any kind of structure as far as that was concerned. And I was like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, oh my God. And then by the end, I'm like, I only have one. And then we've only been doing this for 2 hours. And he is not he's a really good kid, but I couldn't imagine having 20 of them, right? So but you got this. Keep your head up and just get through as much as you can get through in a day. The number 2 thing I would say is absolutely no technology, unless you have to be on the computer or on a tablet or whatever, unless that's what you have to be on, no technology. My son has to use the computer for his lessons, but then he also does paperwork daily. When he is doing his paperwork, I turn on music with no words, is what he says, mostly classical music. I did say into my phone, I asked Siri to open up the classical radio, and they heard Cactus something. So now we listen to it's kind of indie vibe. I actually like it, but it doesn't have words. And so just not a which kind of it kind of is. I haven't talked in a long time, so sorry, just bear with me. It kind of is a distraction, but not it's way better than dead silence. I can't do dead silence, and he just seems to work better when I have a little bit of classical or background music. But that means I can't be on my phone though either, because it's just oh, what are you doing over there? But my son is younger, But still, if you have like a teenager and they're doing school, I would, sorry, I would take, or excuse me, I would take their phone from them while they're doing school. Every day we do about like 3 to 5 hours of school. So, yeah, you can get a lot more done when there's like zero distractions. Classmates can be distractions, talking. I try to like stay focused. Let's get this done. Stay focused. That's what we do. Of course, you have most parents going through this, their kids are already like zoned in, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, that's just what we are. That's just what I suggest is like looking through Facebook or Instagram or whatever it is. If you're doing your business, yeah, no, I don't know. If you have to do it, then do it. You gotta work around what you can work around. But like, I try to like just this right now, this time that I have now is like my business time. So, but I also am not everyone, so I couldn't expect how much you can get done and whatever. Anyway, but I suggest like having no technology, no TV, of course, obviously, nothing that it would entertain your child. Um, Yeah, and then like nothing that would distract your child to pull away from what they have to do, um, their assignments and stuff like that. Another thing that I always do, always, is like I said, 30 minutes, 30-minute timers. Sometimes it's 45 minutes if it's like a lesson that has a lot to go over. I'll be like, okay, we're going to get like half of this done today, and we'll pick up another half tomorrow. Like today I set a 45-minute timer and we got done 4 lessons. I mean, they were really easy lessons, but we got done 4 lessons today. So I just set a lesson for each class. And if the assignment isn't done, I just say, okay, stop. Because you don't want to burn them out on, because you could sit there. I'm telling you, you can sit there for hours and you get stuck and and you try to like push it forward and it doesn't go forward because they're just done with it. So I try to every 30 minutes I move, and we tend to keep pace fairly easy. His language arts, of course, I think is obnoxiously more than everything else. But I do know that they're trying to prepare kids. I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Like his lessons for language arts are like 12 pages, and his lessons for everything else are like 4. So it's just like goodness. So anyway, if you don't finish, move on to the next day, and make sure that you still have your weekends off, whatever, your Saturdays, Sundays. Take a break. It doesn't have to always be school. And if you stick to your schedule and keep, you could be amazed at how much stuff you can get done in a small amount of time if you don't have the distractions, you don't have anything else, and you can just focus and sit down. And if you want to give yourself more time, like if you're an older student, if you want to give yourself more time, give yourself another 30 minutes to do it. You can sit there all daggone day if you want and do your schoolwork. I'm just saying to if you start to get frustrated and stuck in a skill or an assignment or in a class, just give it a break, move it to the side, and go on to the next. But because you don't sit in class, especially if you're an older student, you don't sit in class for more than 45 minutes. I went to 2 schools. I had one school that we did an hour and a half classes, but we went every other day. And then I went to a school that had 45-minute classes. So yeah, you get what you get done, and then you just move to the next course, and then you could be done in school in 4 hours. You could take out all those walking around, the 5-minute or 7-minute or 10-minute breaks in between each classes, and things like that. You can get a lot done. But yeah, So there's always that. That's one of my tips. Another tip, you know what I'm going to try to do with this video? I'm going to try my hardest. Well, on the podcast, it'll be like this, but like on YouTube, because I'm going to put the whole video on YouTube. It's going to be like, oh my goodness, what was I going to say? Oh, I'm going to try to I don't know, I'm going to try and do this special because mine are just plain, my videos are plain. And thank you so much for everyone who watched, just a time out break. Thank you for everyone who watches my videos on YouTube. Thank you for everyone who listens to my videos on YouTube. Thank you for everyone who listens to my podcast on whatever platform it is, on Spotify, on Anchor, from wherever you're listening from. Thank you so much. I really greatly appreciate you just listening to me rant about crazy things. This isn't a crazy topic. This is true advice that I can give that really helped me, because I struggled in the beginning, and you will struggle. And a lot of the parents I remember in the beginning were just deers in headlights, right? Which is so do we just sit there for hours and watch our child not, and then it's some parents know some skills, the teacher knows some skills, or some little nuggets that work, and it's just, I don't know. So this is all of the nuggets that I've collected that helped me in the beginning, that I think could help anyone on any grade level get through this hard transition. Because when you are home, you can become not more lazy, but just less efficient. You could be on your phone all day and not even realize it. So yes, with that said, I will go into the next lesson, or not the next lesson, sorry, into the next thing. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for listening to this episode of the So Your Stay at Home podcast. Without your continued support, we could not do what we do. This episode is brought to you by 3ofakindbags.com, your one-stop shop for all of your unique handcrafted bags and customizable gift set needs. Shop small at 3ofakindbags.com today and connect with them on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at 3ofakindbags. Thank you to our sponsors, and now let's get back into it. So, with the time and everything, another thing that really, really helps, I would say this would be the fourth step is, or the the fourth tip would be doing your classes. So now you're not on a set schedule, right? I mean, you're not. You can, if you're a high school student and you love math the most, you can start with math. I personally start my son off and granted, he is in kindergarten, but I start him off on Spanish because Spanish is his favorite, or math, Spanish or math, those are his favorite. I don't stick with one a day, and I know that's probably oh my God, you really shouldn't do that, but I just don't. I like to move it around, because, yeah, staleness can lead to boredness, and then I don't know. I want school to be fun for him. So yeah, I personally start with one of his favorite classes, Spanish or math. And then I transition into his hardest class after that. So he's energized, he's ready to do school. He's done really, really good. He picks it up really well. And then I do his hardest class, which is English, just because there's so much of a workload to do. And he's not the fondest of writing. But then today I showed him, I was look, and I showed him this book of all of my business ideas. And he's did you write all that? And I said, yeah. And these are just thoughts in my head. And so if you ever want to be able to write, be able to put what's in your head out for other people to understand you, writing is a very good skill to have. And you have to know how to write, what words are and stuff like that. And I've changed my office area around to better accommodate us for school. I know, right, at the end of the school year, but it's going to stay like this all year, next year too. And yeah, so then I start with his hardest class, and then we always do his second hardest class, which it just depends on what the workload is, right? Like second hardest is, it's not like hard, like he struggles in it. It's just amount of workload. And some weeks his workload is big, and then some week his workload is like one lesson, and you're like, oh, okay. And then like some DVAs. So, and then we do lunch, and then and then whatever comes out after that. Yeah, give yourself a break, a food break in the middle, always, but like get some work done before you take that lunch break. I always do. I'm like, come on, we get this done, we eat lunch, then we come back from lunch, we do some PE, and then like I end with his last favorite, which is like usually PE. That's because it's like the time of day is not so hot outside, and because it's like weird. It's been like a weird season here. It's been like a nice the later days, the later in the day, it's been warmer here. So, which sounds weird, but with daylight savings too. And then you can't go outside too late because of the daggone mosquitoes. They've been getting ate up. I'm like, y'all gotta go earlier. But he did just have spring break, so there's all that stuff. And anyway, but yeah, and then we start with PE, or we end on PE. Or if if we started with Spanish, we usually end on math. Give it like a good nice round, like just sprinkle in your classes. But the most important thing is like, if you go to class every single day, go to that class every single day, or do that work every single day. If you only go every other day, then do the work for like an hour or 45 minutes for that day, and then go on to the next day. You don't have to spend all of your day doing your schoolwork. Another thing, and with that said, like, you will have questions. Your teachers are the best person to ask those questions to. They, now listen to me, they are at home with their children. If they have children, they're at home with their children, taking care of their children. So you have to be a little accommodating, like if they don't answer all of you. But I like right when you ask them the question, but just ask the question if you're having troubles with something and you don't understand something. Always reach out to your teacher, because they can give you a resource to use, and they've probably been there, done that. And I don't know, this is weird. This is a different pandemic, not pandemic, but like different situation. So, just reach out to your teachers if you ever have a question. Like, ever, if like you're like, oh, how do I turn this in? Don't sit there for an hour. Just send an email to your teacher or text your teacher. I don't even know how teachers communicate nowadays. I know that like a lot of them text, but you might have a question or like 5 of you might ask the teacher the same, might send the teacher a question, and they can just send out a mass, like, here for the day, here are questions. I don't know. There's 1,000 things you can do to reach people. But if you have a question with like the technology and how to turn it in, or how to print things, one thing, I don't know if this exists. I don't know what is available for regular schools, as far as like apps and platforms to get things turned in and stuff. But Dropbox, which is I don't actually know what it is. It's like if I had to describe what is, well, you know what? Let me Google it. I'm goofy right now, right? I'm going to Google, what is Dropbox? It is a modern workspace designed to reduce busy work so you can focus. It's a software so you can focus on the things that matter. What? That's not what it is. It's a place where you can like take your, okay, so like what I use it for is I'm sure like a lot of people out there, but if you've never heard of it, it's really easy to use. You take a picture of something, and then you send it, and it sends it to your phone, or like you take a picture with your phone through the Dropbox app, or you upload it through the Dropbox, and then you have it on your computer, and then you can send it. But I'm sure, I live in the Stone Age, so I'm sure that there's like 1,000. Now that I say it, I'm like, there has to be something way simpler than that out there. And like, So like, but again, you can ask, I learned that from my teacher. I didn't know that already. My son's teacher, not my teacher. So there is that. And lastly, because we're going to wrap this one up quickly, I don't want this to be like an hour-long video on tips of how to homeschool. And please, if you are a homeschool mom or homeschool dad or a homeschool teacher, or a teacher or anything that knows how to like, who that can help with like this transition during this time, please leave a comment on any platform that you've listened to this to, and like just let people, read the comments. I'm not very good at this. Read the comments, and then we can all just be like a big community of helping each other, because that's all yet we have to do, right? Is just help each other and try to stay as positive as we can. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, probably for the next 15 minutes, hopefully not, is never be afraid to teach your child a different way of doing something that is in like their school lessons. So like I find teaching my son math not completely differently than what is in, well, we're way ahead in math. We're right now doing just like oh my goodness, like review. And so that's why we do so good in math and we fly through it, because it's like he's been adding and doing all those things in pre-K. Well, our pre-K, not in like school pre-K. I don't know if they do that in pre-K, but that's because he was just ready to do it. So we've been doing those things for a while now. So like I teach him different ways to how I learned it and stuff like that. And or I say, or because I was like, I don't want him, I remember telling his teacher, I was like, I don't want him counting on his fingers, right? I want him, like, there's a way that like you do the touch where you touch the number and you touch it 1 and that means 1, and then 1, 2, and it, because when he counts and he's learning to count on and all those things, but I told him something. She's like, it's not a wrong way, it's just a different way. So like, don't ever be afraid, because it's just giving your child. And I'm like, what? I just cut off and stopped talking. It's just giving your child, when you teach it, if you know how to do something easier, you're just teaching your child how to give it more critical thinking, right? You like give them another tool to solve a problem, is how I look at it. So it's never bad. I mean, don't teach your child the wrong way. Like if you're teaching them something that's like completely wrong, then no. Like completely against their lesson. Unless it's like history and it's a crock of crap. Sorry, I try to edit this one because I'm going to put the whole thing on YouTube. And it's not true, or the way that they spin it, and you're just like, that's not how that happened. Feel free to tell your child, that's not how that happened. Or, you know what I mean? Like, don't be afraid to teach your child. You're your child's teacher right now, and they'll be learning from you. They've always been learning from you, but they'll be learning from only you. And, of course, the internet for the next foreseeable future. So, just don't be afraid to be like, well, that's not the way that it is in the school, but I have a different way. Just say, hey, I have a different way of doing it. If you're stuck and the way that they're doing it is completely wrong, or not completely wrong, it's just like, what in the heck are you doing? Just be like, hey, I have this way. Now with Common Core math, I can't help you out on that. I don't know. I don't know if I cannot teach my son that. I don't know. I can't see into the future of what we'll be learning. My water ran out. With that said, I think I'm done with this podcast for the day. I hope that you take care of yourselves, and if you have any questions, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. I don't know if you can DM on YouTube. Like I said, I'm in the Stone Ages as far as technology goes, but I'm sure you can find me on one of my many of social media platforms. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope to have a couple more podcasts coming out this week. What day is it? I don't even know. Goodness. Hopefully a couple more this week. before the month, or not maybe this week, but like before the month is over. Positive vibes. I'm sending them to you. Oh my goodness. Quick note. The cat, the neighbor's cat that we feed, she's been kind of like slumping around and like, I don't know, not very responsive. She won't move. But now, like my son said a little we've been praying for her hardcore, but my son said a little, and she's an outside cat. She ain't coming in the house. And I think I'm allergic to her anyway. But my son said a little prayer to her, a prayer for her, and she got up and she started moving around, and I was so happy for her, and she ate a little bit of food. So yeah, but I don't know. I love life, and life sometimes can be really poopy, right? It can be, ugh. You're just like, ugh. But you know what? I don't know. I don't know. But I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope your week is amazing in the ironic way that it is. I don't know what I'm saying, guys. I'm tired. I really am. I've like organized 2-3 rooms. I'm not organizing my room. My room is perfectly fine. Doesn't need to be organized. Just clothes need to be folded. I've been avoiding these clothes for a freaking week now, which is amazing because I haven't left my house in like 2 weeks now. Yeah, I'm like, my son is like, can we go? We've been like taking little walks around the neighborhood. And that's about all. And like my partners have been leaving. Like he's been going to the grocery store mostly. He had to go to work for one day. And then, but yeah, it's just the dynamic of life will change, but we will all be fine. And we will get through it, and we will learn, and we will grow, and we will be smart, and we will vote in 2020. All right, I'm done with my crazy propaganda. All right, it ain't crazy, but you got me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time on the podcast. Outro coming at you now.
So that was rough. I mean, it usually is. But I know you will miss all of my confusion and incomplete thoughts, so I will see you in a few days to do this all over again. Maybe a week or two. I don't know. You know, I'm not consistent on the schedule, but you know. If you can't wait until then, you can find me on Instagram at SEW, You're a Stay at Home, and 3 of a Kind Bags. Thank you. Talk to you soon.